The journey to the land of the dead. The silence of the ancestors. The Okuru people had lived in the Valley of Red Earth for as long as anyone could remember. Their huts were made of clay and thatch, their nights alive with drums, their days guided by the wisdom of elders. Above all else, they believed in the circle of life. The living, the dead, and the unborn were threads of the same cloth. Every season, the Okuru gathered at the great fire to pour libations and call the names of their ancestors. It was said that as long as the names were spoken, the spirits sat close, blessing the village. But one year a silence fell. The yam harvest rotted before it ripened. The hunters returned empty-handed. The women's wombs grew still, and no babies cried in the night. Even the drums lost their voice, their skins dull and lifeless no matter how hard they were struck. Worst of all, the elders' dreams where the ancestors once came with warnings and blessings were empty. The ancestors have turned away, the people whispered. We are abandoned. Fear spread like a sickness, for without the ancestors, the Okuru were as grass without roots. Chief Ikon, tall and stern, gathered the people beneath the ancient baobab. Its trunk was wide enough for 10 men to encircle, its branches stretching like arms of the sky. The elders spoke. The medicine woman Ayabo spoke. Finally, the drummers, silent for weeks, tapped a faint rhythm, as if urging an answer. Ikon raised his staff. The ancestors are silent. Our fields decay. Our children do not come. Someone must go to the land of the dead and ask why. The crowd gasped. To walk the path of the dead was a task no mortal sought. That path was filled with trials, beasts, and shadows that fed on fear. But then, from the crowd, a voice rang clear. I will go. It was Oba, son of hunters, young but known for his courage. His eyes were bright, his heart restless. He had lost his father to sickness the season before, and the silence of the ancestors weighed heavily on him. I will walk where others fear. I will find our ancestors and bring back their words. The people murmured, some with awe, others with pity. The elders looked at him long and hard, then nodded. The journey is chosen, Ayabo said. For 7 nights, Oba lived apart from the village. He ate no meat, drank only from the stream, and listened to the slow beat of the sacred drum that the drummers played through the night. On the 8th night, he was brought before the fire. The flames leapt high, fed with oil and herbs. Ayabo painted his body with white ash, spirals for life and death, triangles for protection, and a single black line across his brow to mark the threshold he would cross. She gave him 3 gifts. 1. A calabash of pure water, to drink when rivers turn to dust. 2. A kola nut, to offer when a spirit blocks your way. 3. A string of cowries, to remind the dead that you are still among the living. The drummers beat faster. The people sang his name not in farewell, but in remembrance so he would not be lost. At dawn, Oba stepped into the forest. The forest grew stranger with each step. The trees leaned inward as if listening. Birds grew silent. The air smelled of smoke, though no fire burned. On the 7th day, Oba reached the crossroads of shadows. Before him stretched 3 paths, one paved with bones, one lined with fire, one that disappeared into swirling mist. He remembered Ayabo's words. The true path cannot be seen with eyes. Listen with your spirit. Oba closed his eyes. From the path of bones came weeping. From the path of fire came cruel laughter. From the mist came silence, but in that silence was a tug at his chest, gentle yet firm. He stepped into the mist. The mist thinned to reveal a black river, wide and endless. On its banks wandered spirits with hollow eyes, whispering names they no longer remembered. A giant rose from the waters, the ferryman, skin glistening like wet stone, eyes glowing like embers. His voice rumbled like thunder. No mortal crosses unless he forgets. Drink from the river. Leave behind your name, your home, your life. Oba's heart trembled. To forget was to lose his mission. But he remembered the kola nut. He knelt, placed it before the ferryman, and bowed. "I cannot forget, but take this gift so you may remember me." The ferryman stared, then took the kola nut and ate it whole. The river stilled. A narrow bridge of light shimmered across the black waters. "Go," the ferryman said. "You honor me with memory." Obakrost. Beyond the river loomed a gate taller than any tree, built of stacked bones. Two hounds, black as midnight, barred the way, their eyes burning red. They snarled, but Oba held up the cowries. They glowed with living light, and the hounds fell silent, their ears drooping. Slowly, the gate opened. Oba stepped into a vast plain. In its center burned a fire that never died, its flames reaching the sky. Around it sat the ancestors of the Okuru, countless and shimmering, their faces shifting like smoke, their eyes glowing like stars. From among them, a woman rose. Her face was familiar. It was Mama Coco, Oba's grandmother, who had died when he was small. She smiled sadly. "Child of my blood, why have you come? The living are not meant to walk here." Oba bowed low. "The people suffer. The ancestors are silent. Tell me why." The ancestors murmured like rustling leaves. Then an elder spirit rose. His form was vast, his voice like thunder. "It is not we who abandoned you. It is you who abandoned us. You no longer sing our names. You waste the harvest. You spill blood without sacrifice. You live as if you walk alone." Oba's heart sank. He fell to his knees. "Then tell me, how can we restore the bond?" Mama Coco touched his forehead. "Return. Tell the people. Remember us in story, song, and sacrifice. Share food with the hungry. Pour drink for the earth. Speak our names with the drums. Do this, and the circle will be unbroken again." The ancestors lifted their voices, a great chant that shook the ground. Oba felt himself pulled backward, through fire, through mist, through silence. When his eyes opened, he was back at the crossroads. The forest was bright. The rivers flowed forward. Birds sang again. He returned to the village, his face radiant, his voice strong. He told the people all he had seen. They listened, they wept, they rejoiced. From that day forward, the Okuru restored the old ways. At every meal, they poured water on the ground. At every festival, they sang the names of the ancestors. They gave food to the poor, spoke stories by the fire, and drummed with power. The rains returned, the harvests flourished, children were born. Dreams once again carried the voices of the ancestors. When Oba grew old, the people often asked him to retell his journey. He would smile, place his hand over his heart, and say, "The living and the dead walk together. To forget is death. To remember is life." When he finally passed, the drummers played through the night, and the people sang his name. And in the land of the dead, Oba took his place by the eternal fire, a guide for all who came after.